So today we start with a PPT on HVDC transformation. Okay. So this is a revision part. HV transmission. Next slide. These are the textbooks. These are the textbooks. Now generally we are using KR Padia. This is books on HVDC that is written by Dr. KR Padia. He is a professor on IISc Bangalore. I have given you the books. Another one is Edward Wilson Kimball. All of them. Next is there are some overview which you have to cover in this PPT. That is the general aspect of DC transmission and comparison of it with AC transmission. The first foremost is what is DC transmission, and second is our next topic is to compare it with AC. Okay, how the DC and AC will be comparing. Next is the converter circuits. That is there may be 6 converter, maybe 12 pulse converter. This is another part is that. And next is the analysis of bridge converter, and last one is the controller, HVDC controller system, and last one is protection. Okay, so these are the total topic here. We are what we will discuss here. Total 5 topics are there. So we are moving on the first topic. Okay, that is first one is the general aspects of DC transmission and the comparison of it with AC transmission. So here first part is we have to know as you remember we have studied earlier the history behind the DC. Okay, how come it come from the first beginning from the first beginning of DC, how HVDC has come into the picture, and the constitution of extra high EHV, that is means such a extra high voltage AC and DC links, and the limitation and advantage of AC and DC transmission. Okay. So this is the first part. So this is the historical sketch from the history of behind the HVDC. That is the first is the evolution of power system. When we have taught earlier, that is the history, but it's the revision part. We are going through this. That is the evolution of power system. At the late 1870, the commercial use of electricity has been started. Okay. In the 1882, the electric power system, which includes generator, cable, fuse, and load, is designed by Thomas Alva Edison at Pearl Street Station of New York. Okay, and this was the DC system. Remembering that the first system was established by Thomas Edison was a DC system. It was a DC system, that is the pretty low voltage, that is 110 volt, and the underground cables are used to distribute the power to the consumers. And at that time, we are using only underground power cables. Okay, to distribute the power to the consumers. Only there is a limited of consumer, that is only 59 consumers are benefited by this law, by this low voltage DC system. So only 59 consumer was there at that time. And the light was using for a load, that is the incandescent light. Only 59 consumer was there, and only incandescent lamp has been used at that time. In 1884, motors are developed by Frank Sprague. After the invention of motor electricity used more effectively, and or it was appreciated. After that, what happened when motor was invented at 1884? After the motor invented by Frank Sprague, the invention of motor has become the using of electricity as was more effectively. Okay, in 1886, the limitation of DC has been comes into picture. That is the when we comparison to AC, that is the what is the limitation of DC, what is comes into picture. That is the high losses and voltage drop, transmission of voltage required. These are next is the so the transformer AC distribution was developed, and at the time mainly two drawback of limitation of DC has been come into picture. That is the first one is high loss and the voltage drop, and the second one is transformation of voltage required. Okay. Next is the at the time the transformer and AC was established, which was a distribution part was with 150 was pretty increased from 59 last time. What is there? The incandescent lamp was 59. Only 59 consumer was able to have that electricity. But now in case of AC, we have increased the capacity. That is, the 150 lamp was developed used, which is developed by William Stanley or Westinghouse. Westinghouse you have studied earlier. That is a power company established in New York. In 1889, the first AC transmission system in USA between Willamette Falls and Portland, Oregon. It was established. That is between Willamette Falls and Portland, which was in Oregon State. It was one single phase 4 kV, and it was over 21 kilometer. That is established between, the distance was between 21 kilometers. Okay. Earlier in this year, the Nikola Tesla developed polyphase system. That is the three-phase system, what we called. Nikola Tesla established polyphase system and the patent of generator, motor, and transmission line. But after that, what happened? That Westinghouse Powerhouse has been bought all the patent from Nikola Tesla. Okay, that's what that means. After when patent, you know about that. What is the meaning of patent? Bought the patent. That is from then. After then, whatever will be the generation part or the motor part or the transformer, whatever any work or any service, they all have to take permission or all have to pay to Westinghouse. Okay. This was the meaning of patent. Okay. Hello, Nilofar, सुना दे रहा है? हेलो नीलोफर.
हाँ सर, सुनाई दे रहा है.
हाँ, एक्चुअली आज क्या कर रहे हैं, एक थोड़ा पहले से रिवीजन कर रहे हैं, तो मेरे पास एक पीपीटी था, उसको देख रहे हैं. ठीक है, पहले जो दो चार स्लाइड ही हुए, तुम देखो, तुमको समझ आएगा सर. ये तो जो क्या कर रहे हैं कि यहाँ पे जितना भी एक पीपीटी था, पहले से हम स्टार्ट किए, कैसे हम अभी चल रहा है कि जो हिस्ट्री पहले पढ़ाया था, जो क्या से ये एचवीडीसी आया, कम्स इनटू पिक्चर, उसका चल रहा है. ठीक है. So, in the year 1881, Nikola Tesla developed the polyphase system, and he has a patent of generator, motor, and transformer and transmission line. But afterward, Westinghouse House has been bought it. Okay. In the 1890, the controversy on whether industry should standardize AC or DC has begun. So that means, what does that mean? That means there has been a controversy of has begun. That is, whether industry should standardize all these instruments with AC or standardize all with DC. That controversy has begun in 1888. So, Thomas Edison was in support of DC system, but Westinghouse in the support of AC system. Okay, Thomas Alva Edison, who developed AC, developed DC, is the support of DC system, and the Westinghouse, who has all the patent of generator, motor, transformer, and transmission line. This is a powerhouse company. He was in support of AC system. Okay. But but after that, what happened? That the AC system has many features than the DC. It has been dominated all there. Okay. That what are the benefit of AC system? That is, the first one is the voltage increase is possible. That is, the first one is voltage increase possible. Next one is a simpler and cheaper generator and motor. Okay, these are the two reasons that is, for this the AC system has dominated over the DC system. Okay, next is in 1893 the first three-phase line 2.3 kV. What is the 12 kilometers setup is started in California. and the this is you can understand that this is the in case of three-phase means that is a AC system, and the improvement of in voltage was going on year by year. That is the that is 1922 we have 165, 1923 we have 230, 35, 237, and so on, and at the end of 1990 we have 1100 kV. Okay. So standard voltage or whatever we are taking in the as a part, that is the voltage are 150 150 kV, 138 kV, 161 kV, and 230 kV is prepared for high voltage. That is high voltage line. Is prepared for high voltage line, and the remaining 345, 500, and 765 are called extra high voltage line. This is can be a come as a MCQ question. Which one is called as extra high voltage line? Which one is called as a high voltage line? Okay. The for interconnection of AC system, we need fixed frequency. Okay. When we need the interconnection between the AC system, that is suppose one system is 150, 150, 115, 115, and one is 130, 138. So in between, if the frequency for interconnection of this system, we need fixed frequency. Okay, and the 60 hertz US and 60 hertz was standardized by US and Canadian countries, and the 50 hertz was taken in the Europe and Asia. As we know, in India we are taking the fixed frequency, that is the 50 hertz frequency. Okay, you can see in the or any bulb or any switches on any circuit, that is there is written the 50 hertz. Okay, but in case of US, that is 60 hertz. Next part. So here comes up HVDC system when the high voltage is coming in the picture. That is from this system. The HVDC system was designed in the French engineer, that is the Rene theory. Simultaneously, AC system was also developed slowly. Okay, so Rene theory, who has been who is the first man who has designed the French. He is a French engineer, and he has designed the HVDC transformer. Between between in the back to the past. In the between 1880 and 1911, there are 11 Curie system was installed in Europe. The prominent was Monsieur of Lyons in France, and what is in 1906. It comprises 180 kilometer, 4.5 kilometer underground cable, and 4.3 megawatt, 557.6 kilowatt, and 750 ampere. Okay, what are the features? These there are some features of the DC HVDC system. The DC generator, DC series generator were used. Constant control current mode was there. So next, in the 1920, the transverter. Okay, this is called transverter, means transformer and inverter. That is called the mechanical converter. That is a polyphase transformer was developed. Again, AC system dominated. What are there is some you can see there is then struggle and fighting between AC and DC. That is sometimes first was DC was established. After that, AC first is DCSA, that is very low voltage. After the AC establishment was there, after starting in the invention of motor, AC comes to the picture. After that, what happened? The AC dominated day by day, but in between, DC DC comes into picture with HVDC, but at the time that in 90s the transformer was invented, and again AC system dominated. At the 1930, all the Curie system was dismantled because in the DC system we need frequent maintenance, and cost is also very effective. Okay, and the cost is also very high. So at the time all the Curie system were dismantled, and again in the AC revolution back till 1950. In the year of 1950, Mercury arc valve, that is the bulky converter, was possible to convert AC to DC. That is the main point, the striking point for DC. And the AC revolution back till 1950. In the year of 1950, Mercury arc valve was invented. It has the possibility to convert AC to DC. Okay. in 1954, the first HVDC system was between the Sweden and Gotland Island, was commissioned by the cable. Okay, this is in between Sweden and Gotland Island. Okay, conversion carried out by Mercury or rectifier. Again, people think about DC transmission because of the limitation of AC. What are the limitation of AC transmission? That is the in case of high voltage. In case of high voltage, there are some limitation of AC system. Rest is okay, but in case of extra high voltage or high voltage, the AC system has lots of limitations. Okay, so people are people are starting thinking about DC system. That is high voltage DC system. Okay, next slide. That is what is the limitation of HVDC system? Okay, there is some first one is the reactive power loss, and next one is stability. Third one, number 3 is carrying capacity, and fourth one is skin effect and Faraday effect, and number 5 is power flow control is not possible. Okay, just a minute. So we have found that when in part of AC system, when the AC is carrying high voltage, when the AC is carrying high voltage, so there are some limitations. That is the reactive power loss is more. Next is that there some stability issues are there and comes into picture, and the carrying capacity for HVDC very poor, and there are also skin effect and Faraday effect was there, and the power flow control, which is the main our motto, that we have to control the power flow. So it is possible in case of high voltage AC system. Okay. Next is the advantages of HVDC. So here we found that there is no reactive power loss, and no stability problem, and no charging current point is there, and there is no skin effect and Faraday effect. That is it is also skin and Faraday effect are very low there, and the power flow control is also possible, and it requires less space compared to AC for same voltage rating and size. So there is another thing, important part, that is it takes less space. Okay, that means in a small room we can adjust more amount high capacity DC system. Next is the ground can be used as a return conductor, as you will see in the monopolar system or any bipolar system. In the monopolar system, the ground is also there, but in case of bipolar system or homopolar system, if there is any fault, if there is any fault, and then ground is can be used as a return conductor. Okay, and the less corona loss and radio interference are also there. So these are the total advantages of the HVDC over the limitation of HVAC. Okay, there are some limitation of HVAC, that is high voltage AC. What are the limitation? And these are the total advantage. You can take the picture of this, the screenshot of this thing. That is these are the advantages of HVDC. Okay, next, more are there. That is cheaper for long distance transmission. Asynchronous operation is possible. No switching transient. No transmission of short circuit power. No compensation problem. Low circuit current, and fast fault clearing time. Okay, these are the these are the first part. This part are the main reason or main advantage, and there are some more sub advantages. These are the sub advantages, okay, of using HVDC. Next slide. There are some disadvantages of HVDC are also there. That is the cost of terminal equipment is very high. It also also introduce harmonics, which we taught earlier. There is a possibility of blocking of reactive power, and the point-to-point transmission is another problem which in kept in HVDC, and it has a very limited overload capacity. Okay, and there is a huge reactive power requirement at the converter terminal also there. So these are some small disadvantages of HVDC. Okay. So here the comparison of AC and DC system. So these are the comparison. There is the relative merit of two modes of transmission, that is the AC and DC, which need to be considered by a system planner, are based on the following factor. The main factor for those we can which decide the using of DC and AC are these mainly the economy of transmission, the technical performance, and the reliability. Okay, these three parts are the main factor of a system planner. System planner means who is the engineer who is planning the system or set up the designing the system. Okay, you have to think about this factor, that is the economics of transmission, technical performance, and the reliability. Okay. The major feature of power system is the continuous expansion elicited by the increase of power demand. Now, what is the first our priority should be expansion. Okay, suppose we have first we have designed a transmission line about 20 kilometer, but after 1 year of 6 months we have to increase its capacity. We need to expansion it. So that is the main that should mean that there is the mode of expansion is there. Okay, that this implies that the establishment of a particular line must be considered as a part of an overall long-term system planning. Okay, there should be some long-term planning for it when we start a small system. When we start planning a small system, but there should be a long-term planning. Next is the economy of power transmission. The cost of transmission line includes the investment and the operational cost. That investment cost includes right of way, transmission towers, conductor, insulator, and terminal equipment. These are the some investment costs which are included in the cost of transmission. And it also has some operational cost. That is it is mainly due to cost of losses. It mainly due to cost of losses. These are the operational costs, the cost of losses. And the next is right of way. Okay, ROW. An electric transmission line right of way is a strip of land used by electrical utilities to construct, operate, and maintain and repair the transmission line facilities. So what are we saying? An electric transmission line right of way. What is the meaning of right of way? Is a strip of land which it is a particular strip of land, but it is a piece of land which is used by the electrical utilities to construct, operate, maintain, and repair the transmission line facilities. Right of way may also include the purchase of right to remove danger trees. Okay, what are they doing? It remove all the danger trees, the tree that can be in the transmission line, and it can become the danger for the system, or it can damage the system. So they have the right to they have the right to cut the down. The danger is a tree outside the right way, but with the potential to do damage to the equipment which within the right of way. Okay, if the danger trees falls or cut down, it could strike poles, tower, and wire lines, appliances, or other equipment and disrupt the flow of electricity of our customer. Okay, this is the called the danger tree. So next one, this is the investment of image of ROW. That is the suppose in the between you can see this is the wire zone. Okay, and there is the suppose border zones there, and these are the potential hierarchy which can be comes into in the electrical part, which can be if they cut down or fallen there, it can hamper the electric supply. Okay, there is the compatible species, and this is the total right of way part in the between, and this one is the right of right of way ROW. Apart from the apart from the right of way. Okay, this tree is this area of strip is called right of way where transmission line move through. And after that part, after the region is called off right of way. Okay, next is So in case of 50 kV HVDC transformer, that 55 to 60 meter is the right of way. In case of 50 kV AC double circuit, it requires 65 to 75 right of way. In case of 50 kV AC single circuit, it required 105 meter right of way. That means total space in between. And in case of and in case of 240 kV AC double circuit, the 185 meter is the right of way. Okay. Next is the comparison of right of way with the AC and DC line. Suppose in case of AC line, that is a 400 kV AC line, the right of way is 96 meter. Okay, but in case of plus minus 500 kV DC line, that is we require less right of way, that is 46 meter. So we can see that in case of DC, the right of way is very small. So we need small area for DC line. Okay. Okay, so this implies that for a given power level, DC line requires less ROI, simpler and cheaper tower, and reduced conductor and insulator loss. The power losses are also reduced with DC, as there are only 2 conductors are used. So as you can see, in case of DC, the power loss is very less because there are only 2 conductors used. But here we are using 4 conductors. 1, 2, 3, 4 conductor as we using. The power loss is also reduced. The DC, as there are only 2 conductors, no skin effect with DC also is also beneficial for reducing power loss marginally. So there is no skin effect, the DC in case of DC, it also reducing the power loss is very marginally. Okay, the dielectric loss is in case of power stable is also very less for DC transmission. The dielectric loss is very less, and the Coulomb effect tends to less significant on DC conductor than the AC, and this leads to choice of economic size of conductor with DC transmission. So Coulomb effect tends to very less for a DC system. So, and the other factors that influence the line cost are the cost of compensation and the terminal equipment. And the DC line is this do not require compensation, but the terminal equipment cost are increased due to the presence of converter and filter. Okay, so these are the some disadvantages of a HVDC over HVAC line. So we will continue. We will stop today and we will continue from there in the next day. Okay, আজকে ফ্রাইডে তো আমার নেক্সট হচ্ছে আমাদের হবে মানডে থেকে হবে, ঠিক আছে? ঠিক আছে, এই ফ্লাইটটা আমি পরে পাঠিয়ে দেবো, ঠিক আছে? হয়ে গেলে পুরোটা আমি তখন তাহলে এটা দেখে দেবো, এখানে পুরো পিকচার করে দেওয়া আছে, ঠিক আছে? আর ঠিক আছে, আমার নেক্সট দিন তাহলে 23 ফ্লাইট থেকে শুরু করবো। ঠিক আছে, ওকে, হ্যাঁ, থ্যাংক ইউ অল, বাই।